And welcome back to Jeff Koinange Live. This is the home edition. And yes, I am in day 9 since I tested positive for COVID-19. I feel good. The only thing is I'm still in isolation, have to be at home. I set this whole thing up myself, so I hope it's okay for you guys out there. I hope it's okay for Michael Joseph too. We're going to go straight to him. He's the chairman of the board of Kenya Airways. And you guys know international flights resume on August the 1st. Michael Joseph must be on pins and needles as we speak. Michael, good to see you. How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you, Jeff. Very good. Thank you. Looking forward to Saturday.
So tell me something. You're looking forward to Saturday, but it must be nerve-wracking for you.
I don't think nerve-wracking. I think the wait has been a long wait for us to start to fly. You know, this is what airlines do. They fly passengers. The plane's supposed to be in the air. So I think it's a little bit nervous in terms of, will we get the number of passengers? You know, all the protocols, will they all work well? Will the airport work well, et cetera, et cetera. But, you know, because we've been flying freighters for the last 3 months or so, and some evacuation flights, it's not completely new, but still would be nice to know that we're going to have full flights and everything's going to work fine.
Speaking of full flights, tell me something. What's the passenger load like this coming weekend? Can you tell us?
No, I can't tell you yet, but it looks pretty good so far. You know, we're not flying every single day, so I think the first days will be quite low. I think, like we did when we started domestic, probably around about between the 60 to 65% load factor, which will be fine for us.
Okay, let me ask you this, MJ. Let's say I'm walking into the plane and I turn right rather than left when I walk in. So I'm in economy class. Walk me through what happens.
Well, before you even get on the plane, your temperature will be taken at least when you enter the airport. Before you even get on the plane, the next time your temperature will be taken again. Before you even go through security, they'll ask you to put everything that you have in your pockets, in your bag, to be tested to go through security. Only your shoes, only your shoes will go through the normal test, normal through the security check. And then, of course, when you get on, you turn right, you'll go into your seat, and what will happen is you'll have a designated seat, of course. And we will ask you to keep your mask on all the time, except, of course, when you eat and drink. And that will be it. And there'll be sanitization stations throughout the plane. The crew will be fully equipped with PPEs. And, I think that will be it.
All right. Thank you for enlightening us on that. Let me ask you this. The last time I traveled internationally was probably in February. And I'm not even dying to travel, Michael. Who's traveling right now?
I think the people who are traveling are people like myself, who I'm flying on Saturday myself, because people who've been here for 7 or 8 months need to go home. People need to, go visit their families. Business people be traveling and things like that. I don't think you'll see, it depends on the protocols. I think that's what everybody's sort of waiting for, the finalization of the protocols is, if you want to go to the UK, if you want to go to Europe on business, if you have to be quarantined for 2 weeks, then you probably don't want to go. But I think mostly be families traveling for, reuniting families and things like that for now. Business people, I'm hoping, and tourists, I'm hoping when they come back, when they're on the return flight, the flights will be full of tourists and business people. For sure, I think that's what we hope for. And of course, what we've said now, and which hopefully will be confirmed tomorrow or the next day, is that if you come with a COVID-free certificate landing in Kenya and your temperature is below 37.5, then no quarantine. So that's what we're hoping for.
All right, Michael. And what do you tell economists or analysts who say that this is not economically viable right now for KQ to start flying international flights?
Well, I would ask back, when is it going to be economical? We have to start. We have to start to show that we are flying, because people are not going to fly until they know, or they're not going to book tickets until they know you're flying. So I think as long as we get a 65 to 70% load factor, then it becomes economical for us to fly. Of course, I don't think, Jeff, you're going to see ultra low cost tickets and things like that in the beginning, because of course we have to squeeze whatever we can from each customer that flies. So I think tickets will be relatively expensive. But I think as long as we have 60, 65% load factor, then it's economical to fly. Also bear in mind that what we've said is that we're not going to fly the normal frequencies of daily flights to Amsterdam, Paris, and London, etc. It'll be 3-4 times a week, and the number of frequencies will depend on the load. We're not going to fly uneconomically, for sure. We can't afford to do such a thing.
Absolutely. Speaking of economic or affordability, Michael, look, before COVID, let's face it, KQ was in the red. How much of a hit has KQ taken since March?
Oh, it's big. It's significant. I don't have the figure at the top of my head, but it's in billions and billions of shillings that we've taken the hit since March, since the 23rd of March when we stopped flying. It's in hundreds of millions of dollars for sure. And, you know, we, as you said, we started off in the red. We're still in the red. But what we're doing now, Jeff, and I think it's public knowledge now and maybe not so much appreciated, but what we see and what the world industry sees, the airline industry sees, is that we do not see a return to the numbers that we saw in 2019 in terms of number of passengers. Probably we won't see that worldwide until 2022 and probably in Africa 2023, bearing in mind that we have an election here in 2022. So because of the reduction in number of people flying, we obviously have to reduce the size of our fleet, the number of frequencies that we fly, the destinations that we fly, and that's what we have to do. We have to cut our cloth, you know, accordingly. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to get back, but we are determined, you know, as the national airline, to make sure that we come out of this crisis, you know, slimmer, more efficient, and more profitable in the long term.
Michael, I remember talking to you right inside Central Park in New York City. I think it was November last year, and you were still optimistic then that KQ will ride out this storm. If I can ask you an unfair question, will KQ survive this?
Very unfair. Jeff, look, it's difficult. I can't give you a categorical answer at this point. You know, when I talked to you in November, we didn't have COVID-19. You know, we were going through a process of starting the nationalization process. You know, we had a clear plan what we were going to do. COVID-19 has really flattened that plan. You know, it doesn't have any sense now. What we planned in November doesn't make any sense today. But, you know, we hope that the steps that we are taking in Kenya Airways, hard they may be, that we still feel relatively confident that we will ride out the storm. But we need to slim down, both in terms of size, in routes, number of aircraft. And you know, my objective and the management's objective is definitely to slim down and to come out of this crisis at the other end in a stronger position. Otherwise, I don't think we would bother to do it, because it's difficult, and all airlines are going through this. So this is our plan. This is the plan that we've also sold to the government to help us and to support us, and we believe in the plan. Of course, you know, many things can happen, many things can change, but I still think that between, you know, as Kenya Airways, I think we can do it.
Final question, MJ. Best case scenario, worst case scenario?
That's a very unfair question. I mean, the worst case scenario right now is if something happens between now and the end of the year, which hits us hard in terms of either, you know, bad weather, another, you know, COVID-19 limitation or restriction, something else like that. This can take us down completely. That's the worst case scenario. Best case scenario is we come out as a slimmer airline, nationalized together with the Kenya Airports Authority, and we start to become profitable in 2022.
MJ, always the optimist. We wish you the very best. Thanks so much. Good to see you, sir.
Thank you, Jeff. And I hope to see you one day.
All right.
On our flight.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Michael Joseph, then the chairman of the board of Kenya